This video will show the process of starting a custom box enclosure, which you'll be creating for fragile materials like this book. This video is the first in a series of other videos on box enclosures, and will specifically cover the measuring and cutting of barrier board. Barrier board is a very sturdy, cardboard-like material that can be easily bent. You can choose barrier board from leftover scraps that look around the size you need, but otherwise there are larger pieces available for you to cut down. Start by measuring for the center piece of the box, which is the exact height of the book by the exact width of the book. There are many rulers available, large and small. Use centimeters and millimeters for precise measurements. When measuring the width of the book, make sure to include any slight protrusions, such as a large spine that might stick out farther than the cover of the book. It is helpful to record your measurements, as you'll be reusing your measurements for other steps. I found a scrap piece of barrier board that looks about the size I need. Now you'll measure the barrier board and mark the exact height and width measurements of the book you recorded earlier. Now you'll head to the blade. Place the barrier board for trimming. Align your marks with the metal guide on the blade. Use the pedal at the bottom of the blade to clamp down the barrier board before you cut. You may have to push down on the blade with some force. When you are finished, make sure you leave the blade closed. Once the center piece is trimmed, lay it over the cover of the book to make sure it is the right size. It should cover the top of the book exactly. I will usually indicate which side of the barrier board I have by writing its name on the back of it, to keep track of which piece is which. You'll be cutting many more sides, which I'll show you in a second. After you've cut the centerpiece, you'll cut two identical side strips that will be attached beside it. Start these strips by measuring the thickness of the spine. I usually measure it like this. Note your measurement. The side strips will be the exact height of the book by the exact thickness of the spine. Once again, I found two pieces of scrap barrier board to use for the side strips. Measure the strips out and make them both the exact same. Now trim them down. Once you have two identical side strips, or side flaps, don't forget to mark their names on the back. Mark 1A and 1B. Next, you will cut outer flaps A and B, which will be attached beside their corresponding side flaps. Both have unique measurements. For outer flap A, you'll be doing some basic math. You will take the exact width of the book that you recorded earlier and subtract 2 centimeters from it. This will be the length of one side. The other side of outer flap A will be the exact height of the book. So, outer flap A is your modified width measurement by the exact height of the book. I found another scrap piece of barrier board to fit my measurements. Measure outer flap A and mark the exact height and width measurements you calculated. You will once again do some basic math for outer flap B. Take the exact width of the book recorded earlier and divide it by 2. The other side will be the exact height of the book. So, the measurement of outer flap B is your modified width measurement by the exact height of the book. Like outer flap A, mark your calculated measurements for outer flap B. This is an overview of the outer flap measurements. These flaps have similar measurements, only for outer flap A, you will subtract 2 centimeters from the exact width of the book, and for flap B, you will divide the exact width of the book by 2. Both use the exact height of the book as the other side measurement. If you need help or need a recap, you can always rewatch this video, ask for help, and there will probably be print instructions available. When you are done measuring, return to the blade and trim outer flaps A and B. A helpful step you can take is to lay the pieces of barrier board you've cut so far together in order on a flat surface, to help you visually understand how the pieces are oriented. The next pieces you'll be cutting are the top and bottom strips. These are less difficult to measure out. They are the exact thickness of the spine you recorded earlier and the exact width of the book. Both will be identical. Now measure them out. After you've trimmed them down, don't forget to label them. Label one top and one bottom. For your final pieces, you'll be measuring and cutting inner flaps A and B. These require some math as well. To summarize, the sides of inner flap A and B will both have the exact height of the book divided by 2. However, inner flap A will add 1.5 centimeters to that measurement, and inner flap B will add 2.5 centimeters to that measurement. So inner flap B will be 1 centimeter longer than A. I'll display this process to you. For inner flap A, we'll take the exact height measurement of the book, divide that by 2, and add 1.5 centimeters. This is where post-it notes or scrap paper come in handy to do short math equations. Once again, if you need any assistance, just ask, or of course you can use your phone or Google to calculate for you. The other side of the inner flap will be the exact width of the book. Now measure out inner flap A. Inner flap B, once again, we'll use the exact height of the book divided by 2 plus 2.5 centimeters. Once you've calculated your measurement, remember the other side of the flap will be the exact width of the book. Now back to measuring and marking. Once you've trimmed inner flaps A and B, add all the pieces you've cut so far and organize them on the spread you started earlier. All your pieces should be present. Next, you'll be rounding the outer corners of the outer pieces of your spread, indicated by this picture. The pieces you'll be rounding are inner and outer flaps A and B. This is the corner rounder. Simply place the corner of the barrier board you want to round into the rounder and press down. Remember to only round the outer corners of these pieces. Once you're done, you can gather your pieces up and store them neatly until you are ready to measure and trim your fabric. Please visit our Special Collections website for more information about our digital archives, services, or to contact our staff.